The record heat and sunshine have been abruptly replaced by a weekend of storms, triggering a third day of severe weather threats in the mid-Atlantic and Northeast and an increasing threat of flooding near the Appalachians, and the rain will keep coming. A slow-moving front trudging to the east has tapped into abundant moisture, courtesy of the lingering effects of the hot and humid air mass setting records in the region for several days this week. Severe thunderstorms with wind gusts over 50 to 70 miles per hour slammed the Northeast Friday, leaving tens of thousands without power in Massachusetts and New York and generating more than 200 storm reports for the NWS, a vast majority reporting trees and/or power lines toppled in the ferocious gusts. Andover, Massachusetts was hit hard by severe thunderstorms, and town officials report several major and secondary roads remain closed due to downed trees and power lines. National Grid crews worked to restore power in Andover on Sunday. Parts of northeastern Pennsylvania received at least 4 inches of rain on Saturday, spawning flash flooding. Video near Clark's Summit shows drivers stranded in flooded streets. A state of emergency was declared in Dallas Township because of the flooding damage from the storms on Saturday. Back Mountain Regional Fire Rescue and EMS received more than 30 calls for flooded vehicles. While showers and thunderstorms continue this weekend, the severe threat isn't quite as expansive for Sunday. Flooding and wind gusts will be the biggest concern through the I-95 corridor, including Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., Baltimore, and New York. Damaging wind gusts, again of 50 to 60 miles per hour, are the greatest threat from severe thunderstorms, in addition to bursts of heavy rain and frequent lightning. A flash flood warning is in place through Sunday afternoon for Central Kent County and Central Providence County, Rhode Island. Between 1 and 2 inches of rain has fallen in the area by Sunday afternoon, with an additional 2 inches possible, according to the National Weather Service in Boston. The flooding threat will continue throughout the I-95 corridor on Sunday for Philadelphia, New York and Boston. Farther south, it's not wind or hail, but the storm's heavy rains that are of concern. Thunderstorms along and east of the Appalachians could see rainfall rates of 2 to 4 inches per hour, and repeated batches of storms could lead to flash flooding. Flood watches are in effect through Sunday night from southeast West Virginia and throughout eastern Virginia. Showers hold in the forecast Monday and, at times, into the middle of next week before drier weather gives residents a chance to wring out later next week. Heavy rain continues to pour over northeastern Pennsylvania, washing out roads across the area. A bystander in Clark's Summit on Shady Lane sent our news station video footage from what appears to be a car watch below. Crews in the field tell us multiple roads throughout the area are being impacted by the current storm. Traffic northbound is stopped, as is Northern Boulevard in South Abington TWP. The reporter Paula Giangiacomo reported around 8:30 p.m. emergency vehicles and swift water rescue barreled through stopped traffic on I-81, north near Clark's Summit, Lackawanna County. Around 9 p.m. assignment manager Joey Dominic reported on Kaiser Avenue and Jackson Street there are multiple spots flooded out. Nina Limongelli also reported around 9 p.m. that the flooding on Northern Boulevard on South Abington was like a river. Limongelli notes fire trucks and firemen are seen trying to help people through and out of the flooded water. According to Limongelli, people are evacuating their cars, leaving them in water. As of 9:45 p.m. reporter Paula Giangiacomo tells us traffic has begun moving again. As stated by Giangiacomo, cars were stuck in flooded water on I-81 north due to flash flooding. The police are directing traffic and exit 194 has reopened, as noted by Giangiacomo. We are unaware at this time if there's an accident, flood waters, or both causing the stoppage. Rock slides and rushing waters blocking roads in Clark's Summit near Glen Oak County Club on State Street. Viewer photos in the Abingtons show people's properties covered in several inches of water. Lackawanna County officials declared a state of emergency on Sunday, a day after strong, long-lasting storms killed one woman, closed at least a dozen roads and damaged many properties. According to local media, The unidentified woman who died had been brought to Geisinger Community Medical Center around 9:30 p.m. Saturday. Coroner Tim Rowland hasn't offered other details. The aftermath of the hours-long storm left debris on roads throughout Clark Summit, Dalton, Dixon City, Newton Township, Ransom Township, South Abington Township, and parts of Scranton as workers attempted to repair damaged areas. Both north and southbound lanes of State Route 11, a major artery from downtown Scranton to several local suburbs, was still closed Sunday night from Dixon City to South Abington. Matt Williams, who lives in North Abington and has a company in Dalton, said he hopes people are understanding as insurance and government agencies respond. This weekend was the worst flash flooding he has ever seen, he added. I think a lot of people were caught off guard, Williams said. We were having a quiet evening and it started raining, and it just kept going. Burkowski is worried the road in front of her house will collapse. She's also waiting on the township and insurance so she can begin to piece back her property. Meanwhile, she's watched her community come through. Neighbors and onlookers have stopped by to see what they can do to help out. One even helped move rocks from the area so they have a place to move their cars. Honestly, it means the world, Burkowski said. When you live in a small town, people tend to come together during times of need. We get busy in our daily lives and caught up in social media. Sometimes we don't see our neighbors for months, but during a crazy act of nature, we put the phones down and lend a hand. The flooding that hit Lackawanna County was intense and has carried over into Sunday morning. Several basements have flooded with reports of up to 5 feet of water in some. The county has now declared itself in a state of emergency to effectively utilize all available resources. Throughout the night and into the morning, first responders were called to rescue about half a dozen people according to the 911 call center. The number wasn't exact, but off-duty firefighters were called in to help assist with rescue and flood response efforts. The emergency responders and residents of towns inundated by floodwaters worked Sunday to assess the damage and start the recovery process after severe thunderstorms unleashed destruction in parts of the Abingtons and Scranton. The officials in Scranton held a news conference Sunday following the severe flooding Saturday night. According to Mayor Paige Cognetti, millions of dollars in property damage were caused by the flooding, and crews are working on cleaning up. The hardest hit areas were on West Mountain and Leach and Leggett Streets in North Scranton. Cognetti also warned residents about scammers. If you have damage, be aware of scammers that are posing as PEMA, posing as FEMA, saying that they're going to clean up your house for you, said Cognetti. That can be a scam, so you want to watch out for that and be wary of people who are coming in to assist that you don't know. Mayor Cognetti said there will be extra patrols out Sunday night in case of more flash flooding in Scranton. PennDOT and emergency personnel held a news conference Monday morning to discuss road conditions in several counties after the weekend storms. The officials say this was a significant precipitation event that closed nearly 24 roads in Lackawanna, Luzerne, and Wyoming counties. One of those roads is a section of Route 11 known as the Notch, which connects Clark Summit and Scranton. PennDOT is working to get the roads cleaned up and reopened. Many roads buckled, and bridges were washed out in parts of South Abington Township and Clark Summit after flash flooding. PennDOT officials and state and local emergency management agencies said there were 23 roads closed in Lackawanna, Luzerne, and Wyoming counties due to flooding and damage. 10 roads have since reopened, and 6 more are expected to have traffic moving through by the end of the day, including Route 11 through the Notch with at least 1 lane in each direction. PennDOT officials say bridge inspectors are also out assessing damage. What I would say is that the people of northeastern Pennsylvania are resilient and resourceful. I witnessed it yesterday as I saw people with skid steers, brooms, and physical labor making sure that they did what they could to repair the damage that was quite significant. I thank all of the first responders, EMS, fire, police, local borough, township, and city crews for what they did, said Secretary Mike Carroll, head of the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation.
I told you it was
PennDOT officials expect to have all of the roads reopened by next Monday.